Ukraine claims to control 1,000 square kilometers of Russian territory, the Kursk region, Kursk Oblast, in the biggest incursion since the Second World War. Is it a victory and a bargaining bet for Ukraine? Comments, please. Okay, let's go to the map and find out what on earth is happening in this region. Yes. So let's go to Ukraine. Okay, the map is all skewed around. So let's go to Ukraine. It's north of the Black Sea. And if you go eastwards of Ukraine, we have the Kursk. Where is Kursk? Where is Kursk? Oh, here we are. Here is Kursk. So they seem to have, or they claim to be in control of some amount of Russian territory, maybe 1,000 square kilometers or something. That's the claim. Now, we have no way of ascertaining whether this claim is correct, but assuming this claim is correct, they are currently in control. Let's say we assume that this claim is correct, that they currently control 1,000 square kilometers of Russian territory. Is this a victory for Ukraine? Well, let me tell you. Let me ask you a different question. In February 22, Russia went ahead and took Donetsk, it took Luhansk, it took Mariupol, it took Kherson. Was that a victory for Russia in the Ukraine war? They had advanced all the way, Russian tanks had advanced all the way to the outskirts of Kiev. Was that a victory for Russia? The Russians had taken Kharkiv. Was that a victory for Russia? They took Kharkiv and they went out. They took Kherson and then they retreated. They were on the outskirts of Kiev and they retreated. So was that a victory or a loss for Russia? The Ukrainians lost so much territory. Is that a loss for Ukraine? Have they lost the war? There were so many other battles that happened. So the war is ongoing. This is a temporary situation in the war. This is not the end of the war. A victory or a defeat is something that signals the end of a war. This is a phase of the war, right? So it's a situation that's happened, and the Russians, as you may be aware, are tremendously more powerful than the Ukrainians. So I think even if Ukraine, let's say the situation is correct and the Ukrainians control currently 1,000 square kilometers of Russian territory, how long do you think it'll last? How long do you think it'll last? Are the Russians even using a significant amount of their assets? Do you even know the kind of firepower the Russians have? So I think it's a situation that's evolving. It's been evolving since February 2022. There have been lines on the map that have been constantly changing, going backwards, forward, everything. And this is just part of that. It is not a victory or a defeat by any means for this side or the other. It is an evolving phase of the war. Is that a bargaining bet for Ukraine? Why don't they try to bargain and then see what happens? I mean, so look, you cannot keep on commenting about everything that happens every week or every 5 days in Ukraine, because that's what Indian TV channels do. Okay, so there's an advance by Russia or Ukraine 10 kilometers. They will dissect that in great detail and have 20 panelists come and discuss that. That's an exercise in futility and pointlessness. Look at the bigger picture. Zoom out. Look at the bigger picture. What are Russia's objectives? What are NATO's objectives? That's what you would understand. In that context, you have to decide whether it's a victory or a loss. And right now, the war is still ongoing. So Russia's objectives are to denazify Ukraine, turn Ukraine into a genuinely, permanently neutral nation, and effect a regime change in Kiev. That's Russia's objectives. What are NATO's objectives? NATO's objectives are to destroy Russia, okay, essentially, and effect a regime change in Moscow. Now, has any side achieved any of these objectives? No. Is the war still going on? Yes. So how is it a victory? How is it a loss? It's an evolution. It's a passing phase of the conflict. That's what it is.